Hello, and welcome to the Secure After Dark podcast. I am your host, Tanner, and I've got one of my oldest friends, Dan, here, hanging out. We're going to talk about, I don't know, we're just going to BS. He does AI stuff. It's pretty cool.
It's true.
And I thought, hey, let's just BS about it. This is like any given weekend night. We have these conversations in my kitchen. So now you're here, and it's at work. We got some piggyback rye. One of our guys here drinks this stuff quite often, and he will probably be mad that we're drinking his rye. But he'll get over it.
Hickman?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes, it's Hickman.
It sucks. Is that his?
I mean,
Not anymore.
it's the company's.
Awesome.
This is our company bar for any of those who are wondering. You guys
Yeah, I
own
like
a
your
bar?
office. This is nice.
Yeah. It's
Bar in my office.
yeah. Everybody should have a bar in their office, though.
Okay.
Cheers, man. Cheers. Let me know what you think.
Okay. Okay, now you're a whiskey aficionado, so
Yeah.
you go first. Tell me about this.
So I'm not a big rye guy typically. I do like this one. I like some other ryes. I get a lot of spice on the rye, almost like holiday spice, like an allspice cinnamon type of thing. Cinnamon's wrong, but it does have that kind of the same burn sort of that the cinnamon has to it. And on the nose, it's really candy-like, caramely.
Yep.
And I would say you even get some of that on the finish. You get some of that sweet kind of caramel.
You know all the terms on the finish, on the wow.
Yeah. That's if you talk about whiskey in fancy terms, you're not an alcoholic.
Are you supposed Should you hold it on your tongue, or is there a procedure to the whiskey?
So drink it in a way that you don't feel the burn is typically what they say, where you can take a sip and push it to the top of your mouth with your tongue.
Okay.
I don't really do that, but that's what the fancy people say to do.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think that's the way to do it.
I mean, it's good. I would buy it. What's it cost?
I don't even remember. It's not a terribly expensive bottle. It's their cheaper rye. They have a Whistle Pig gets astronomically expensive, but this bottle's not. It's like their cheaper one, but I actually like it a lot more than the more expensive ones.
I mean, yeah, Hickman likes it. We're drinking a lot
There you
tonight.
go. Yeah.
Unfortunate for him. Okay.
So yeah, I wanted to kind of chat about some of the AI crap we've been talking about. But first, I guess let's let people know who the hell you are and why the hell are you here. I met Dan, I don't even know, 18 years ago, something like that.
Oh gosh, it's been a while.
It's got to be close to that. 16 to 18, somewhere around there. It's been a long time. I've known you for longer than I haven't. So I met him on an internet relay chat back in the
IRC.
day. Yeah.
Whatever happened to IRC?
It's still around somewhat, but mostly dead. People use Telegram, Discord.
Telegram's awesome.
So it's was a BinRev IRC chat, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We were in many of them. Old hacker IRC, and we just started talking, and we literally have been friends since. I lived in California for majority of your life.
Yeah.
Came over here to visit because we'd never met in person, but we've been talking for friggin' 10 plus years. And you're like, hey, I think Oklahoma's cool. I'm gonna move here. Which is strange decision, but hey,
No, it's correct.
yeah.
It's evaluated correctly.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I say he's one of my my old school hacker bros and stuff. And now you got really into AI.
Yeah.
So I guess talk about some of how did you start getting into that, and where did you? Because that's your job now. So what are you doing?
Yeah. Fascinating. I don't think I talked about that. It's the most fascinating part is it's trying to figure out the difference between how AI thinks and how computers think, because they do the same function, but they come to different conclusions, and you can almost close the gap, because what the AI is doing is it's taking different, props. It's taking different data sets and it's rearranging them, but you'll notice whenever you talk to ChatGPT, it's always an unsatisfactory experience, because it rearranges the data, and you go, okay, that's kind of cool, but it's always kind of like, yeah, well, thank you, you helped, but you didn't really kind of get me 100% of the way there. You got me 90% of the way there. But when you talk to a person every now and then will get you way where you wanted to go, because what a person does is they rearrange things, but they do it in a way that is transformational, right?
Yeah, sure.
They take the information and all they're doing is they're doing sorts essentially. But if you sort things correctly, the sum will become it will have emergent quantities that'll be larger than the actual data set. But the machine can't do that. It does the sorting part, but the selection is the significant part. So the fact that it has the capabilities, but it won't do it correctly, is fascinating.
I heard somebody say it's not AI, it's just a bunch of if-then statements.
No,
And then I thought, isn't that kind of what your brain's doing also?
kinda. So in the 19th century, the idea that people are machines, it bubbled up then, and there's a lot of fields based on the idea that you are a machine. The entire field of cognitive psychology is based on that concept, and so is pharmacology. The idea that what's wrong with you is chemical imbalances and you need a pill for that, or the idea that law, certain aspects of it, the criminal justice system, is based on the idea that you are a machine and you need different inputs, or that when people say, well, if you had gone to college, you would have thought differently on this subject. They're thinking that you are a machine and you need different inputs to get different outputs. So should that end up not being the case, there's a lot of industries that will suddenly not exist. Similarly, the idea that computers cannot be creative is quite, you can really poke at it if you want to. Like, what do you think? Do computers produce genuine output or not?
So I don't know what you mean by genuine output.
Well, are computers, do they have novelty and creativity?
Generally, no. I would say no.
Why not?
It will give you a recreatable expected output based on what you tell it to create.
Based on what you tell it to create.
Yeah.
So was the Sistine Chapel like was that a novel act? Was that people go on tours just to see it? So that was cool.
Sure.
But Pope Julius II told Michelangelo to make it.
Yeah, but I don't know that he said, I want you to put this here and this here and this here. They said, I want you to paint me a beautiful mural that's this and this.
He said paint it. He said,
Yeah.
But when you talk to your computer, it executes what? 3 billion instructions per second, and you don't tell it what to do.
Somebody did.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But there's really a gray area between what you say when you're sitting there and the 3 billion instructions per second that it's executing.
Yeah, sure. Sure. Yeah. Somebody told it to all the way down the line. Somebody tricked that silicon into thinking. Like somebody tricked that poor piece of sand into doing that.
Tricked it.
And
it's a good word.
And now it's still doing it really quickly.
Someone tricked you into thinking. Okay. It's quite clever.
So
I gotta ponder that.
So okay, what do you do? Why
yeah.
are you someone who talks about AI? What do you do for a job?
My actual title is Senior Artificial Intelligence Innovator for the 10th largest company in the world.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, it's fun.
So what are you doing there that you can talk about? I'm sure there's lots you can.
Yeah, it's okay. No, it's all the commercial applications of existing technology. So it's like, is this document rotated this way or this way? But you have to process a lot of documents very, very quickly. And then you end up with really curious conceptual problems about how to process the document and which way it's going and how to do it. But and then just more general issues about where knowledge is stored and how to get it to flow up and how to store it in a lot of companies are bumping into issues with no company has ever figured out how to store its data in a way that is accessible. So companies have data over here in SharePoint and then databases over here. And then I worked at a company once that had actual like tape reel-to-reel machines that would spin around. And I couldn't fathom why they existed. But
with like tape back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no. I saw reels spinning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
So I mean, yeah, no, tape backup makes sense because the density is so great.
Right.
But no, I saw a reel, like a HAL 9000 kind of reel spinning around.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Probably something that some guy who coded is dead and it's
like a COBOL.
It's coded in Fortran. Yeah. Nobody knows about it.
Some ancient language or whatever.
Right. Yeah. It's basically hieroglyphics at this point.
Yeah. So enterprise right now is trying to figure out if it makes sense to ingest the data into a vector database, which has an n-dimensional space where the data stores semantically based on its proximity to like concepts, which is kind of how people hypothesize that humans store data, or if it makes sense to build machines that work the way that you do. So if you were in like a call center, right, and somebody called in and said, I have a question about how do I get a new ID card? I'm part of this healthcare plan, and I lost my ID card. How do I get a new one? Some agent just says, oh, yes, very good. Let me help you, and looks it up. So it's, do you ingest the data and process it, or do you replicate the human functionality? And that's kind of the great divide.
Okay, gotcha. So is it easier to automate? And then what is the answer to automation? Really, large language models.
Yeah, that's what people are doing now, but only because it's so effective. But it has a very significant scaling problem that people haven't gotten around.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like typically the way that you class models is based on the context window size. So you'll say like 512, 124. They're the same scaling systems like RAM basically. But what you're evaluating is the token size, what can fit into the context window. So like what Chat GPT-4 does is what people speculate that it does, is that it's not a single model. It's a combination of many models working together. And through a consensus, like Minority Report, it comes to a single conclusion. You can actually see the behavior in Bard. When you're talking to Google Bard, it will begin to generate one answer and then pull back and make a second answer that was kind of like the first one, but you can see a refinement in it. And GPT-4 has similar behavior where it's clearly generating and then make a second one as well, sort of. But if you ever work with the model directly, what it produces is nothing like the fine output you get from like these consumer products. So it has an intermediate layer that's bringing the input together.
Okay,
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, GPT-4 was kind of an enigma to me when I started using it, because I had used GPT-3 and 3.5 extensively. Using 4 was like, okay, this is drastically different.
Well, they built a layer on top of it to make it into a consumer product. Like I had TensorFlow on my phone for the longest time, and I never thought about it as being artificial intelligence. And then they found a way to really make it into a consumer product. Like how, I guess Steve Jobs wanted a MP3 player. That's where the iPhone came from. But, that really made a splash,
Yeah, right, of course. Have you used I want to go somewhere from here, but have you used X's? I forget what it's called. Grok.
No.
Yeah.
I assume it's like well, no, Elon will probably spend a lot of money on
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I thought, it seems like the type of thing that Elon would dump money into.
No one's talking
and
about
probably
that, huh?
lose billions of dollars on it.
Yeah.
So I am quite curious. I bet it'll be pretty good. I would like to get access to it, but I just
No, I have not. But no one's talking about it. No one's posting any screenshots of it.
It's because everybody hates Elon now.
Oh, I know. So unfortunate. Well, he really goes back and forth too on his popularity.
Yeah, he's a polarizing dude.
Mhm.
That's for sure.
Where do you stand on I was trying to make a Bitcoin one time on like Elon's popularity and try to kind of quantize it, but I could never figure out a way to do it. Where do you stand on the Elon Musk situation?
I think he's cool. I mean, I don't care about people's personal opinions and stuff. I care about mostly what they do.
I see.
And I mean, he's done a whole lot of really innovative stuff. And I think it's overall, I think he generally does cool things. I'm cool with
Elon's
that.
stock is up in your world?
Yeah, sure. I don't have to care about your politics or whatever.
No, I'm very superficial. Only your appearance.
I feel like at the end of the day, he's doing cool stuff. I want a Cybertruck. I'm all about it. So yeah.
Are you gonna buy the Cybertruck?
I considered it.
Aaron still has a down payment on one.
I don't know that I can let go of my diesel these days. I don't know. I really like my truck. But if I do, it will probably be for a Cybertruck.
Really?
Yeah.
It's saying quite a bit. Got the conversion.
I know. Going from diesel to electric.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. So I keep seeing crap. This is the main reason now that we're far enough into the video to pass any kind of YouTube like censor stuff. I keep seeing people make videos and I roll my eyes at them. I mean, I've even been in some about how how AI can be used, or the dangers of AI, the woes of AI. How do you keep yourself safe with hackers using AI and crap? And I'm like, okay, but you're just theorizing. None of this is anything. This is basically just yelling into the wind. None of this is happening. We don't have any proof. So what I wanted to ask you, how do we extort somebody with AI, a large language model? How with deep fakes? I really want to go deep into deep fakes. How do you extort somebody from picking a target all the way to cashing out? Like let's mind meld on
You
this.
have a lot of opportunity.
There's a lot, right? Yeah,
It
but
depends.
nobody's saying anything concrete.
It depends who you want to go for and how you want to go about it. You know, a thing that I heard recently is that the Nigerian scam emails are written to specifically be bad because they want to target the people who are dumb enough to fall for them.
Yeah.
So you want to, is that true?
I've heard that.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know if it's true, but I have heard that.
So, you know, you want to pick a target and then you want to figure out what your target would fall for. Did you ever hear that email that I made for Michael Dell when I was trying to get hired by him?
I don't think so.
I think I had it on my phone.
Maybe I don't know.
Probably at the time. But you have to kind of like play to your, well, like splice them afterwards or whatever. But you have to figure out who you're targeting and what would appeal to them. And
just like any spear phishing.
Yeah.
So we do spear phishing. I'll tell you one that I did. I think it's called Bowling Greens. It's like North Carolina. They do this huge Corvette meet every year.
Okay.
And this guy had never really gotten fished. He was always like, you know, somebody who had been in
the Corvette though.
So there was this thing, right? And I started looking into this guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's got 2 Corvettes. Post pictures of him. He's like part of Corvette Club, blah, blah, blah. Go way back on this guy's Facebook history. And I find that he tried to create a group, to get a group together to go to Bowling Green to do the Corvette, the crews there in their Corvettes and do the thing and come back, an Oklahoma group. And it looked like that never really happened. And so I created his fake website and I created a Facebook page and I hit him up and I was like, we're looking for somebody to help, you know, get this group going. And we're trying to do this. And I knew immediately, I was like, oh, this guy, he tried to do this already and failed. This is his thing. He loves his Corvettes.
Yeah, from the end.
And so it was this guy who had never been cracked, dude, hook, line, and sinker. I was like, I sent him something really stupid too. I think I sent him an HTA file, and I was like, I need you to open this file, and it just redirected to another web page. And he never asked why you need to. Yeah, it was. You get that though. You figure that person out, and that's hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah, the target selection will be the key obstacle. And then once you have the target selection, though, you can do all kinds of things. Like here, I'm going to make problems to your audio. This works. Cannot display. Is it insufficient? Did it insufficient what?
We can splice stuff in.
We're going to have to.
I'm Michael Dell, and this is how I talk. Let me share why Dan Mackey could unlock a new AI frontier for our team. Dan's experience in bioscience, cybersecurity, and AI-driven solutions is impressive and aligns well with our CSG team's vision to enhance customer journeys through AI. Despite being recruited by a competitor, he's so convinced of our leadership and innovation that he's reaching out to us before making commitments.
You can replicate not only the speaking pattern, which is curious. Oh, wait.
There you go.
Yeah.
So and that was a Michael Dell deep.
Yeah, no, that was him legitimately speaking like that. Yeah, but you can replicate not only the voice, but the speaking pattern, his weird pauses, the strange acronyms that could be about anything. So once you find if you can find someone at the bank that you wanted to replicate, anyone that would facilitate the transaction, you do with video as well, emails would work, whatever puzzle pieces you got to fit together.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's say your goal is to make some money, right? Let's target somebody at a bank.
Yeah. Bank, casino.
Bank would be good. Yeah. We could talk casino. I feel like bank.
Bank's better. The Swift transfers though, because then you don't need a bank necessarily. You do the people who actually facilitate the transfers. They're like low level employees.
Oftentimes.
Yeah.
Yes. Not that low level are any easier or harder to manipulate than the high level people.
It's true. Yeah.
Oftentimes we find the high level people are quite complacent.
There was one guy who lost, I think it was $243 million or $1,000 doing a transfer because someone deep faked his like business partner's voice.
Oh, so it did happen.
Yeah. Oh, it happens many times. Yeah, many times. Yeah.
Nice. So let's talk about how you would do this.
Mhm.
Let's go into the tech and everything like that. I want to say, all right, if I want to target somebody at a bank,
Okay.
let's say maybe somebody in loans that has the ability to make transfers, that has the ability to do things like that. Like, let's just say, let's target somebody there. Let's go on LinkedIn, find somebody there. We find somebody.
Find their voice in like 30 seconds.
Let's start there. So we find their LinkedIn.
Mhm.
What are we looking for once we find
So you can find their. So if you want voice, you need like ideally 30 seconds. If you have like, if you want like writing style, you want examples of their writing that you want to replicate.
You only need 30 seconds for a voice?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Is more better?
More is better. Yeah. And it depends on how you're doing it. The commercial technologies need less and the open source technologies need more, but the commercial technologies need less. So if you're doing this, you get the money, pay for them.
Okay. Got it. All right. So we find their LinkedIn.
Mhm.
I think personally, I would go and look deeper into the person.
Yeah.
I would go and look to see if they have Instagram, TikTok, Meta, Facebook, whatever. I would start looking for all of that because I feel like you could just feed it more and more and more. And you could get not only like, this is my very curated LinkedIn writing. You could get like, this is stuff that you wrote 4 years ago on Facebook.
No, if you need the writing samples, you need samples that are exact
I would go
to
for all of it. Because very, very rarely are you making a phone call and that's the end of it. Usually it's followed up by email and things like that. So
okay, if that's the plan, then yeah. If you're doing the entire scope of it, like I got a call from my boss today. I was very succinct. I was very impressed by it. But if you need multiple pieces to it, then you need samples of each piece.
Yeah. So I think that's what I would probably do. I would probably try to first get as much, just like in any social engineering, right? I would try and get as much information as I can to feed it. So let's say you found a handful of TikToks of them ranting in their car about some crap.
Mm-hmm.
You found
Doing dances or whatever.
Yeah, whatever. I don't have TikTok. I don't know. Whatever. Whatever crap. You find some LinkedIn, some professional writing stuff, some casual writing stuff. What do? You got all this data. You got a zip file. What do you do with it?
Oh, there's a lot of open source. Okay, so there's a lot of open source tools. Oh, I would go to a one of the many companies that would probably not appreciate being named. You can just Google various companies. There's very open source tools that will do it as well. For any application that you need, someone has a toolkit or a product or a service that will do it. There was one that was quite fascinating. If you know that KYC thing where you have to hold up your ID to your camera and then rotate your head to the left, head to the right, then it verifies you.
Vaguely.
You never had to do that? Yeah. You never had to do like a Coinbase account where it says, scan your ID and you take a picture of it.
They're always
And then
like
like, how do you get a Coinbase account by doing that?
well, I predated it, and then when they wanted me to do it, I told them no, and it was this whole ordeal, and I had to ship them like a copy of an ID.
You don't have anything where it wants your blood, you put the blood on the back of it, and then it wants your like, what does that?
Did a spit in a cup and mail it.
You gotta
to
spit
them.
on the back of the USB port and it sucks it in. There's a toolkit some guy made on GitHub that it's a Docker container, and it pretends to be the camera so that the Chrome thinks you plugged in the camera, and then it will deep fake whatever image you want onto your face, so you can do the left, right, look at the camera thing.
It's called Dino.
Oh god, I had it written down. It's the most popular one of its type. If you type in like deep fake toolkit, you will find it.
Okay.
So,
If you send me some stuff, we'll put it in the
Very good.
description.
Yeah. So anything that you want to do, you will find. Like the best one for faking audio used to be SVC, but there's forks of it because there's a cycle to all these things where the guy who starts it gets in trouble and then backs away from it, and someone forks it and keeps developing it, and then it's too much heat and doesn't want the smoke and he backs away from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. What are people doing? I want to come back to our topic, but what are people doing that's so why is it deep fake pornography? What are people doing that's like so?
Well, like one guy had a YouTube channel that was really cool, and then he was doing like music. He was making audio files, sound files that were very excellent, like Kanye West. He was putting Kanye West in the songs, directing the songs, and then some DJ used his. I think it wasn't Moby. It was like some other DJ sampled his music, and Drake got very upset. It was very reminiscent of Metallica back in the Napster days, where if you were like the established artist, you didn't like it.
Is that the next generation?
Yeah,
Metallica
a little bit.
Napster? Oh my god!
But then I think it was Jay-Z's label sued the guy and didn't like the AI generated music because you can just put anybody you want into any song now. Like you've seen me do that.
Yeah, no, I've seen you post a lot of it. Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Okay. Interesting. That's what the heat is.
Mhm.
That's so surprising to me of all the things that it could be.
Well, because in the future you can easily pick on a song you want and just say, okay, I want to hear this song, but I want to hear it with Katy Perry, I want to hear it with Frank Sinatra, I want to hear it with Jay-Z, and you can just swap the artists in and out. So I hope you like the current slew of musical talent and artists, because it's going to be Matt Damon and Katy Perry forever now. You don't need anybody else.
You say Matt Damon?
Oh, I mean, in terms of like video.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
You're going to see.
I was about to say, I've never heard his music.
He has. I'm sure he's very talented.
I'm sure he's great.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. So let's say you're gonna make some crap, right? You're putting it into whatever AI toolkit. We'll throw some links in there. Maybe we'll expand on that later on and kind of show love the stuff. But what would you do, right? What do we do? So we're gonna reach out, say, hey, we need you to make a transfer, right?
Yeah.
So you're gonna try and not only find that person, but you need to find who their underlings are, who their boss is. You need to figure out who they're typically instructing people to do things.
Yeah, you would need all of that part. It's with the same scams as always. Like, my grandmother got one of those scams that was, hey, you're so and so, your nephew, your cousin's in jail. Please give us money, and we only take money in the form of Best Buy gift cards. And she didn't fall for it.
Yeah.
But someone in my family did, like an uncle or something. And they have a script that they run. And I guess the uncle went all the way to Best Buy and bought the gift cards for the Mexican police, because they only take Best Buy gift cards. And the Best Buy employee said, hey, don't buy these gift cards. But he did anyway. So, you have to have your whole script down. But if you know your script really well, you can make the audio files in advance, or you can do them in real time too. It will do the inference in real time. So it's just how confident are you in your script?
Yeah, gotcha. Okay. So yeah, same thing as anything else. I mean, we do it whenever we do our regular social engineering type attacks. We do money transfer stuff for banks and we do phishing stuff all the time. So
how successful is that?
Very rarely. Very rarely.
Really?
Yeah. Well, you have to think about also the people who are going out, our customers who are going out of their way enough to hire us to do phishing stuff, to call them and test them on it.
Oh,
like
very forward thinking.
Yeah, you're talking about top 1% of people who are trained.
What is the holdup on that? Do they want a PIN number, or do they just say like, "Hey, I need to talk to so and so about
we
this"?
Do all kinds of different stuff where we'll do like they'll say, "Okay, we do scenarios, right?"
Okay.
And one of the scenarios that's always successful for some reason is they're trained to, if something's just suspicious, tell them no, there's a problem. We got to call you back. And so we'll call in with a really, really heavy fake accent and sound like we're reading crap off of paper, but we have all the information. What's your social? What's your password?
Yeah.
We'll sound suspicious like we have it.
Why don't you just sound not suspicious?
Well, I'm just saying like it's a test, right?
Okay.
It's a test. And then there are other times where like, hey, we just have, here's a bank statement.
Yeah.
You just have a bank statement. With the information on this bank statement, can you convince them to make a money transfer?
Okay.
Things like that. And usually they'll press you and be like, what's your social? What's information that's not on there? What's your secret? What's your...
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So our customers that we're dealing with are typically very good. I won't say they're 100%,
Right.
but like we typically have very, like the people who are going out of their way to hire somebody to do those tests are generally pretty good.
Gotcha.
Yeah. That's at least my
Okay.
thoughts on it.
Because it's something the transfer would go through if you just didn't do the fake Russian accent.
Yeah, no, I still do. That's the thing. I'm saying like whenever I call in with like a super sketchy fake accent, it usually still goes through. That's
Russian Gailovich, here to transfer money from bank.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I see.
Okay, so do your whole thing.
Yeah.
You're hitting the people up. So what do you do if they reply and they say, hey, this is kind of weird. You sure you want me to transfer this money?
You say, I'm Michael Dunn, this is how I talk.
You just make another deep fake and reply to them. Do you call them, or what would you do? So you have the opportunity to call these people or leave them a voicemail, but
You
can't
yeah.
really call. Can you call?
You call real time. You do it real time. That falls back on your personal charisma. I mean, how successful is your...
Yeah, but you can sound like that person
in real time. Yeah, you can do the Michael. So if you had the computer do it, it will put in all of his weird mannerisms where he pauses in the middle of a sentence for no reason, and then puts in like CSG, and uses the acronyms. If you're doing the voice, it will be your voice, your manner of speaking, the way that you pause, your breaths, where it is, but it will be his voice.
Sure.
If the computer makes it, it will be his vocabulary, his speaking. It will do all the pauses correctly. So,
but you can do the vocal changes just on the fly.
On the fly.
Make a phone call.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. So it sounds like it's probably best to do the voicemail.
Ideally, yeah.
If you can swing it. And then from there, you probably want to do text.
You can, yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine you want to do text. email, something like that.
Right.
And then live phone calls an opportunity if they are very concerned.
And you could always kind of, wiggle with it. Like, hey, I'm in, because I do it. The real person is not available because they're in Mexico or whatever. So you're like, hey, I'm in Mexico. Delay on the phone. I'm calling on a calling card, and you kind of.
Well, I have a phone spoofing app, right? And I mean, it's phenomenal, but the things it has built into it is all kinds of background noise. And we use those sometimes, or we'll spoof the person's number that we're pretending to be, and then we'll set in like horrible background noise. I'm sorry, I'm in an airport. It's crazy right now. And it sounds like an airport.
Does it work?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I should do that.
It works really well. I'll show you later. Actually, that app's called Spoof Card.
Okay, Spoof Card's
on
fine.
the App Store. It is, I'll be honest, man, it shouldn't be on the App Store.
It's good.
There's not
just
a valid reason for that. That is like, I'm happy it is because I use it. But man, that is one of those that I'm like, how has this persisted on here for years?
I just can't get over paying for it because they just have an asterisk box. But it's so, the convenience is so nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have an asterisk box too, but I probably spent what I spent on Spoof Card.
Because it's such a pain in the ass. Just
I think I used your asterisk box way back in the day.
Dallas, yeah.
Yeah.
But
what was you had a weird host name for it?
I'm sure I had many hosts for it.
I'm trying to remember what it was.
I'm sure they weren't safe for work.
I think that was the first one. It doesn't matter on this podcast. You can say what the fuck you want. I'm pretty sure I did use your asterisk box back in the day, man. Okay. Anyways, all right, cool. So you talk to this person. You can have a back and forth actively on the phone call.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we can actually get them to facilitate a SWIFT transfer to, say, an offshore bank account.
Yeah.
And then from there, we can just, go
Any bank,
Bitcoin ATM or whatever. Yeah, cool. All right.
Yeah, there's a guy who stole a bunch of money. He got like $70 million, and he got it SWIFT to SWIFT to SWIFT all the way to Hong Kong. And he did like 3 or 4 transfers before they found out. And apparently he got away with it. He did, I think, like 4 transfers, each for $20 million, and they only caught the 4th one. So it can be done. Yeah.
I know of a lot of stories like that. I wasn't aware there were any that actually
SWIFT is so funny. Have you've seen SWIFT, right? It's like
know a lot about it, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a little web page. It's so bad.
Yeah.
I can't believe it exists.
There's also a CLI interface to it.
Oh, is that right? Okay, I think I knew that.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of the banks still use a CLI interface.
It's so bad.
Apparently it's better. But yeah, so.
I hear they're trying to go to some kind of ledger, but that it's being done as like a secondary system that SWIFT is still a priority. So
it's an old system, but it apparently still works fairly well. So I guess there's not much better.
I guess. I just noticed that banks reconcile every night at midnight, and I can send Bitcoin around the planet instantly, but whatever. It's fine.
Yeah. There's I'm not saying it's the best thing. So, whatever. It typically works for people. Okay. All right. So what are some people not thinking about that you could be doing? What could some real dirty people be doing with some LLM AI deepfake type of crap? What could
people
be
don't
doing
even know. The really funny part is how flexible they are. Like if you ask an AI system to pretend to be an API, it will replicate the functionality of an API. So if you ever need, like when you're running a model, if you want it to be an API for the purposes of your Python code, it will respond to you with valid JSON code usually, and you can interact with it very fluidly. It's very convenient. Like you say, I want XML code. Answer any request you get in the format of XML code. Answer any request in JSON code. It's very flexible. So
okay.
Yeah.
All right. You're giving me lots of ideas.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So it doesn't have to respond in English or in Russian or in German. It can respond in XML or in JSON or whatever, and you can have it talk to other systems like that. I was working on a project the other day where I was trying to get 2 APIs to reconcile changes between each other, and it just got to the point where it was more convenient to have an LLM just sit there in the middle and say, okay, just look at these 2 JSON things and figure out the changes, and then construct the appropriate outputs for both of them. It could figure it out. It was very convenient. So
what I'm thinking of is on some web app stuff. Let's pick on banks some more. So so let's say I'm doing a web app pen test for a bank's web app, right? And let's say I find where I can edit some API strings or whatever.
Yeah.
If I can tell it that it needs to talk to my API that is just pointing at an LLM, I could have it still facilitate everything and steal money out of the middle.
Yeah, in principle, it would have to know how to perform the functionality, but if it could do it at all, it would do it if you gave it the correct command. Yeah.
I mean, it seems like you could tell it like, hey, learn these commands and pass it on, have it do that for a day. and then, hey, learn these commands and steal the damn money.
Well, you could certainly train it. I mean, all it's doing is token transformation. It's doing like symbol transformation. So as long as that strikes me as a very possible thing to do. Yeah.
So another thing that I've seen happen is there was a crypto company that got hacked, and they were taking a whole bunch of money from. They had all these wallets, right? They had all their wallet addresses listed in an active file. Everything's like, hey, send the money to these wallet addresses. They got compromised, and the attackers didn't do anything but add their wallet addresses.
Okay.
And so they added 4 wallet addresses to these existing 8 addresses. So 50% of their Bitcoin or any crypto was going to these. Yeah.
Oh, that's clever.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I feel like there's all kinds of openings for things like that as well, where you could say, hey, add in this. Gosh, I don't even know. There's so many things you could be doing to man in the middle with active changes. Right?
Yeah. Well, that's a lot of the future of security is going to be. It's so convenient to have, like the same way that you buy like a doorbell or a light bulb or a camera and it has like an Apache stack in it now. It's going to be so convenient in the future to buy some product that will have just a little AI layer in it to solve so many problems automatically that you're going to have to deal with convincing your light bulb.
You don't think compute is a huge problem for stuff like that?
No, I don't think so. I think it's getting so fast and it's getting so much easier too. They're going to find new like there's a framework there called the Onyx framework that is 20 times faster than because right now when you train an AI model, it's all done in PyTorch and it's fine and it works, but it's clearly inefficient because all you do is take a PyTorch model and save it as an Onyx model, and it's basically taking a Word document and saving it as a Google Doc. It's the same. It's like a file format change. And it's 20 times faster, and all it is a file format change, kind of. So there's clearly big optimizations you can make for big performance gains.
Right.
So no, it's gonna be fine.
Okay.
And then even so,
do you think of this?
Yeah.
Do you think that items like this will be, because my light bulbs in my house have no compute, right? They are strictly light bulbs. I don't have any smart stuff in my house. But let's say
your thermostat's like a 747.
My thermostat is the only thing. Yeah, you're right. My thermostat is the only thing. Okay, so you
that's dual monitors.
Do you think that they're going to be offloading that these are Wi-Fi connected devices, or that they will have native compute? What do you think it'll be?
Well, I told you about Aaron's dishwasher. No, Aaron's washing machine, right? Aaron couldn't get his washing machine back on the.
Did you? Sorry, continue. I got a story about washing machines.
He couldn't get his washing machine back connected, and the way you reset his washing machine, you open and close the lid 7 times, but you have to do it in 7 seconds. So we're out there like 3 a.m, just bam, 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 trying to get his washing machine to reconnect to his Wi-Fi. That was the reset procedure. Yeah,
that's hilarious. There was a washing machine recently that got compromised, and somebody put a crypto miner on it, and they were trying to figure out why their washing machine used like 4 gigs of data. And it was because somebody they'd compromised their washing machine and put a crypto miner on their washing machine.
How much crypto mining can a washing machine do?
Very, very little, I am sure. But I can tell you, as a hacker, I would love that. Absolutely. If I can say that I hacked a washing machine and made it mine,
that's so funny
for me. That's funny, and I will do it. I don't care that it doesn't make me any money.
Was it a home washing machine or a laundry? Okay.
Yeah, it was just like some dude's washing machine.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah, so you think that all kinds of home automation, you think everything's going to have its own little LLM?
Why wouldn't you?
I don't think that it will talk to your house's LLM, because right now the way a lot of the home automation stuff works is they kind of have a little bit of a brain system where you buy your Amazon overlord thing.
Yeah.
And then you buy all the Amazon slave stuff where like it does your whole house, and you say, Amazon overlord, please do this thing. And then it does it. So you think that everything will have its own little LLM inside of it, or that it will talk to your smart house?
Well, it's on little Apache stack. Like it's just so convenient. Like I was trying to import a CSV file, and it was faster to get like a little LLM to deal with the processing of it than to have to put it into a different format. You can run your own server and stuff, but the big innovation of Gmail was having it all in the cloud. I remember having Outlook back in 2000 and trying to synchronize your own email. But then when Gmail first came out, being able to access your email anywhere was a huge innovation. It was a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it was.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we had Hotmail and stuff that predated it, right? But Gmail was crazy because it gave you storage.
Yeah.
It gave you all kinds of stuff.
No one likes Hotmail. And Hotmail's not around anymore.
You can still get it at Hotmail. I recently found this out.
Do you have a Hotmail?
Yeah, I do, but it's the one I've had for 25 years.
Should I be emailing you there?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want a Hotmail so bad.
You can still
Dan at hotmail.com. This is my email address. Go ahead and eat right there. Hand it out at conferences.
You can still select whenever you go to like the commercial office drop down for Hotmail.com.
It says Bing Outlook Hotmail.
Yeah. I didn't realize that until like
I think to sign up for Hotmail though. I'm gonna try and do that. At what was it? AWS reInvent. Oh yes, very good. Yes, you can be Dan at hotmail.com. What's the apple.me right there? Very good.
I had a guy apply. Maybe this is why I didn't interview, but he applied and had an @AOL on his resume.
I want one of those too. It's pretty good.
And I was like, I don't know about that.
I want the old AIM screen names where you put 2 X's before your name or whatever and capitalize them.
I think that moved over to gaming. That's all Xbox and PlayStation.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, that's very Xbox Live.
There's like Vampire Hunter or like XX and 2 dashes.
Okay. All right. So you talked about doing man-in-the-middle attacks, basically. You think of anything else? What else? Like what are people not thinking about?
Nothing. The future's perfect. There's no problems. I'll even bring it up. I think it's
how can we be the hackers of the future? What are hackers not doing that they should be?
I think it's going to be a constant cat and mouse game. Like the Docker image that automatically fixes that fools the KYC, the know your customer thing. That's a big deal for the companies relying on the know your customer stuff. And there's not really
I'm not familiar with the know your customers.
I don't understand how you exist in today's reality. How are you getting through like TSA?
I just hack computers and go where people tell me. That's my whole job.
Yeah, I'm envious, but I don't understand it. But it's a constant cat and mouse game. Like you can only get a little bit farther than the other person. Like you can't go from like A to B. So it's like A to F. You can go from A to B or A to C maybe.
Okay.
But it's like a constant cat and mouse game. So we'll have to see how it plays out. But I'm not really sure. It comes down to individual people. Like everyone's very concerned about these machines that are going to convince you to do all these crazy things. And it's like, well, my uncle tried to buy those Best Buy gift cards, and I don't think a machine was involved in that at all. So
what I see a lot of people talking about is that some hacker will say, hey, I want you to make me a worm, and I want you to take this worm and go make it hack stuff. That's what people think that the future is. And I don't think that is what the future is.
It will do that, but you can buy cheap people to do that too. I don't know why the machine has to do that.
But I've never seen it do anything effective.
It's not effective.
Hey, obfuscate this PowerShell.
Mm-hmm.
No, don't do it. I've even fed it.
No.
This is a known method for obfuscating PowerShell that works. Attempt to apply this method to that, and it doesn't work. It can't make anything.
Well, that's because of the conversation from earlier, where all it's doing is rearranging things that it's seen before. It can't think creatively like you can.
Right.
And even if you, so there are people who have trained models to be on the giant code base of known exploits, and then it performs a little bit better. And then even if it could think creatively, you still run into the same.
That was like a worm GPT.
A lot of them have. Yeah, that's one of them.
Yeah.
There's many. There's like Poison GPT. There's many that are trained in that way. But you still bump into the issue where you can ask GPT to say, okay, make me a React website with 10 pages, and it will make them. But every page is hello world. It's not phenomenal. Or you could say, make me one really good function or really good web page, and that the function will be excellent. But it's only one. It's a small context window. You can't, because all it's doing is trying to figure out the next word in the sentence. That's all that it's doing. It's like spell check. It's not actually thinking. It has no cognition. So if you can solve the cognition problem, you can make it actually create. But since all it's doing is predicting, it can't create it.
Sure. That's why I think that it will not be too much of a concern as far as like people saying, hey, go hack this company.
Not right now, no.
And I think that is a huge leap for AI technology to cross.
Yeah.
Is essentially like that. That's almost the point of like the real AI Just having creativity.
You can apply the principles, like Cisco's pushing a technology for micro-segmentation, where they're trying to say, okay, here's your data center, we're going to put all these various servers and various little containments, and then we're going to look at the traffic going in and out.
Everybody's doing
Yeah, we're going to learn how that's going and say, okay, well, if these servers never do SSH and we see SSH traffic, that's an issue right there. But that's just kind of machine learning or data science, or I don't know if it's really AI necessarily, but it's something. So
Right. Yeah. No, the microsegmentation stuff is interesting. Everybody has their own sort of microsegmentation. I haven't seen any that is either
right.
It's always either good or a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
It's never both. I've not seen a good solution.
And they always push down signatures. It's okay. Well, so
aside from people who do it themselves.
Yeah.
If you take the painstaking hours of doing it yourself, I have gone on some pen tests. One in particular is coming to my mind, where we did their pen test and they had really granular microsegmentation, and it kicked my ass.
How much time do you have? And it's okay, you have a lot of time. You have a lot of time, and your organization is not changing. I'm guessing because it's only. I guess all that server ever does is that item. Then.
Yeah, there's some of that, but I think if you know your environment really well, you can set it up where it matters.
A little bit, but
yeah, it's a good thing to do, but it's not the right solution for every business. And I've yet to see an automated solution that's actually good.
I know
it'd be cool if one came out. Not for me as a pen tester.
Supposedly, one of the companies that does the plane stuff when you're on the plane and it wants your money to go on the Wi-Fi, like Boingo or whatever, one of their firewalls is based kind of MLM AI technology or whatever. That's true. That's people say.
Interesting. Okay. So you mean the thing where I guess people's phone numbers and then eventually it gives me the way?
That's what I do. Like, who on my phone has T-Mobile for free T-Mobile access?
For anybody who's made it this far along, we'll tell you a life hack. Whenever you get on a plane and it wants you to connect to the Wi-Fi and it gives you your phone number to charge it, there are certain carriers that give you X amount of
like T-Mobile will say, any T-Mobile customer can get a free 2 hours on this flight.
Yeah. So just guess numbers until it goes. If you want to be really prepared, you can look up like certain carriers have certain number blocks, and then you can guess in there. Yeah. And that's really effective.
Which is public too.
But if you don't have that, you can take 20 guesses. It'll work.
It doesn't block you.
No, you can just keep guessing, and you have nothing else to do because you're just on a damn flight. Like, yeah, absolutely. I have done that allegedly, not really, just kidding.
Do they build T-Mobiles at the scam? Yeah, they probably do.
I don't know. Okay. I don't know what the deal is. But yeah, no, I know T-Mobile on American Airlines will give you some free hours. And I think Delta has something with no, not for that was way back in the day. They had Verizon way back in the day, but I don't know. Yeah, it's been but yeah, that's the life hack is you can guess phone numbers. I'm gonna laugh and this gets edited out because it's legitimately illegal. I don't know.
Is it? Well, yeah, okay. I mean, there's civil crimes and police show up crimes, right?
Yeah, I'm not worried about it.
Then you picked a day for if we were doing reverse triangle chokes and just yesterday. That's all screwed up.
Yeah, that's how it goes. All right. So, what you doing? Anything else cool? You got any other cool projects you're working on?
At the Shoot and Clash Bash in April, so I'm going to the shooting range after this.
Nice.
I'll go shooting.
That's good. Yeah, sure. It's a good time to go after drinking. That's typically the
some more errands to run after this, so we're fine.
Yeah, it's all good. You probably had one drink.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, you got anything else you wanna share with the class?
No, not at all. I think we basically covered it.
Cool, man. Well, I appreciate you coming out.
Thank you for having me.
It was fun. I have some other topics that I think we can talk about that people I think are cool.
Right on.
So y'all stay tuned. If you like Dan, let me know. If you don't, then screw yourself. All right. Thank you for hanging out and watching Secure After Dark. I'm your host Tanner. This is Dan.
Thank
Dan
you.
the man. All right. Next.